So welcome. Thanks for coming out here tonight. Basically, this session is here to help you decide whether ArtSpark is the right program for you, and how to put together a strong competitive application. Tonight, we're going to go through eligibility, what the grant supports, how applications are reviewed, and what support is available to you along the way. So we've got a lot of resources to help you. Everything that we're discussing today, these guidelines that you have in front of you, everything is in these guidelines. So we'll try to point out along the way what is in here and what and where you can find it. I'm going to just quickly say I am a terrible public speaker. I get super nervous, so please bear with me. I'm going to call Audrey up here to join me. A lot of you might already be familiar with me. My name is Kojevnikov. I'm the Community Engagement Director here at ACA. I've been working here for 4.5 years. I've been running this program for that whole time. We've made a lot of significant changes in that period of time. I come kind of from a filmmaking background. So I have actually applied for grants before. I have received grants. When I arrived in the US, I switched to being a grants administrator. So I have that experience on both sides of grant making. This is Audrey.
Hi, my name is Audrey Damai. I'm a community engagement coordinator here. I've been working at ACA for, I think, coming up on 4 years now, and I've worked in the grants department for about a year. So this will be my second ArtSpark I'll be working as the coordinator. My background is varied, I would say. I have a biology background, actually. So I came up in like the academia world for a little bit, but then I switched to arts administration. So I have experience in writing and like putting your words in a cohesive and convincing way. And I've learned a lot about grants over the last year. So I'm happy to help with any like administrative or logistical questions about that kind of stuff.
Okay. We also do want to know a little bit about yourselves as well. So we're going to do a little exercise real quick. Can you see that one, Audrey? Is that showing up on your screen?
Yeah.
All right. Have you all done a Mentimeter before? Okay. You can either scan this QR code or join us at menti.com with the code that is listed up there. And we're going to just ask you a few questions. It's just to get an idea of who you are, where you're from, what your discipline is. Yeah. All right. So first up in the Mentimeter, you're going to be asked which parish you reside in. So we're going to probably see a lot of people from Lafayette. I hope that our online participants can also join in. If you're coming in late and you want to join in and let us know a bit about yourself, you can join at menti.com and you can use that code up above. So yeah, lots of people from Lafayette here. Who are our St. Martin folks? All right. Wow, you traveled in distance tonight. Who's Vermilion? Brooke. Acadia. Who's from Acadia Parish? Is that online? All right. All right. What is your creative discipline? This is a section where you can free type. So just tell us a little bit about your creative discipline. It could be, visual arts, photography, folk life, performing arts, film, media, interdisciplinary. You can tell us what kind of creative you are. If you wanted to join in, just log in at menti.com and you can use the code up the top to get in on this presentation. We're just trying to figure out where everyone's from and what you're all up to. Okay. Lots of visual artists, which is pretty typical for these, as is Lafayette participants. So, and then a bunch of other stuff, which is amazing. Okay, we get the point. All right, the next question is, which stage of your career are you at? So we're going to determine this by like your practice. So how long have you got documented practice for? For emerging artists, you've been doing this for less than 5 years. For mid-career artists, 5 to 15, and for established artists, 15 years plus. This is probably determined more by, part of your income is from the work that you do as a creative. If you've got questions, totally fine to report. You struggling to? Okay. Okay. Mid-career is dominating tonight. It's generally the case. We generally have a lot of mid-career artists coming through this program. Hey, Carrie. Okay. Who's applied for ArtSpark before? Ooh, a lot of newbies. I got another question for you after this. You can join in on this if you wanted to, just menti.com and then use the code. Okay, so if you have applied before, most of you all have not. So this is going to be a great session for you. Who's applied for other grants before? Again, lots of newbies. Okay. Who's received a grant before? Nice work. All right. And that is the end of that presentation. Thank you so much for sharing with us. It just helps us really determine, what level we're kind of looking at with you all and how to best support you with this. So let's get into the actual presentation. Right. So what is ArtSpark? It's a competitive grant program. It's designed for individual artists at all different stages of your career. And it's specifically for artists within the Acadiana region. So we're a regional arts council. We support the 8-parish region of Acadiana. If you live in one of those parishes, this is for you. It's for specific arts projects. It's for new arts projects. We can discuss if you've got a project at a certain stage, what that means. It's something that you can engage the community with, and it helps you grow professionally. So we're really looking out for you as small business owners, and as Lafayette Economic Development Authority is the funder of this, we really want to incorporate a lot of that economic development within this program. So it's not just a project grant, but it's a career and economic development investment in our creative community. So we're really looking at 3 areas. When you're looking at your guidelines on the first page, you'll see a full list of the program focus. It distills into these 3 areas. We've got artistic excellence, community engagement, and economic development. So reviewers are looking for strong artistic ideas, meaningful engagement with the community, and a clear sense of how this project will support you as a working artist. A strong application will balance these 3 things. What we're looking for with artistic excellence is your history. What have you done before? How is this going to enhance what you've already done? We're looking for a meaningful expansion of your current practice. From an economic development lens, we're looking at how you're operating, how you're spending the money. Are you investing this money back into your community by collaborating with other people, by contracting artists within your community? And then what other professional development opportunities come out of this? So what you really should be able to answer is, how does this project move my career forward? So when you're thinking about this, what is this particular art project going to do for you and your career as a creative entrepreneur? The very first question you need to ask is whether you can actually apply for this program. So we're looking for people who are individual artists. This doesn't mean that so we're not looking for collectives, we're not looking for bands, we're looking for individual artists. This doesn't mean that you can't work with other artists. It just means that you are the creative director of the project. You are leading your project. You can absolutely pay other people to do work for you on your project, but it has to be yours. It has to be coming from you. 8-parish region of Acadiana, everybody here, I think, managed to answer that question. You all reside in the 8-parish region. You have to be at least 18 years old. I can see one person who might be under 18, but I don't think he's applying. Yeah. You have to be a practicing artist. What that means is that we have to have documented examples of you working as an artist. That's going to mean different things for the different stages of your career. An emerging artist will have fewer examples over a shorter amount of time. An established artist will have a much more robust portfolio. And you have to be a US resident with a social security number. This is taxable income. So ineligible, as I said, no groups or organizations. Any recent ArtSpark recipients in the room? Denise? Marie?
How recent?
3 years. I think you're eligible again, I believe. What year did you get a?
22.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
And no students unless you're a graduate student. So if you're currently studying an undergraduate, then you are ineligible. Okay, so what do the career stages mean? I think we got a clue when we were going through the Mentimeter. Emerging artists have to have documented experience of under 5 years. They can apply for between $1,000 and $2,500 for their project. A mid-career artist has to be practicing between 5 and 15 years within their discipline, and that is $2,500 to $5,000. And then mature artists, anyone who's been practicing for over 15 years can apply for up to $10,000. Obviously, this really highlights the experience level of the artists. We wanted to make sure that we were, funding people at the levels that they were likely going to be able to make art through. The requested amounts should match the scope and the readiness. Bigger is not necessarily better. Appropriateness matters. I have notes because I'm better at reading than talking off the cuff. What will ArtSpark fund? So ArtSpark can support your pay. It was a change that we implemented a couple of years ago, up to 20%. Supplies up to 50% of the awarded fee. Production costs, documentation, marketing within limits, and some professional development. Though, if you are going to do professional development as part of this, please make sure you speak to us first so that we can ensure that it's an appropriate way to use that funding. What we won't fund, however, is we won't fund travel for the artist. So if you're traveling somewhere to do professional development, that travel is not covered. You will need to find a different source of funding. It's very confusingly, if you're looking to bring somebody in, an expert in from somewhere else, we can cover their travel. But what we're trying to do is keep the funding within our community. We won't fund large equipment purchases. So anything over $500 is not going to fly. This is not for tuition or school-related projects. If you've got a small business already, it's not for operational support. And any costs outside of the funding cycle. And we'll get to those dates shortly. So, budget basics. When you're creating your budget, I know this can be a bit of a pain point for a lot of people, but what we're looking for is that your budget matches your narrative. So when you're looking at your narrative, you want to make sure that that matches with whatever you've written in the budget. It should directly support the story you're telling in your application. And ensure that all of those caps are reflected as well. So up to 20% for artist fee, up to 50% for supplies. Make sure that all of those things match up. The panelists will be looking out for these types of things. Community engagement. So this is another large portion of what we're doing here. This helps with integrating your art into the community and finding new audience members for art within Acadiana. So what does that look like? It could be an artist talk. It could be a workshop on the discipline that you're working within. It could be an exhibition, a performance. It needs to have some correlation to what you're doing. It can't be completely split from whatever it is that you are trying to complete. So I know that, again, this could be a bit of a pain point. What we're looking for in this section when you're talking about community engagement is we want details. We don't want this to be an afterthought. We want this to be part of your application. We want you to think about how this community engagement relates to the work that you're doing. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to connect with the community. So if I think about Denise with her ArtSpark project from last year, she did a retelling of one of her books into a musical theater performance and invited kids to come and watch the show. It's connected, it's community engagement. It doesn't have to be completely, unrelated. It has to directly relate to what you're doing. Okay, so another section that can be a pain point within this application process is talking about yourselves as creative entrepreneurs. So what we're doing through this program is we're trying to support artists as working creatives. We want you to be able to thrive in your chosen careers. But when we're talking about economic development, we want to know that you're looking at ways to sustain your practice. So it could be through income, skills, audience growth, or future opportunities. It's about intentional growth and not becoming something that you're not. So the way that we spoke about, the audience, the community engagement, it's the same thing. These things have to relate. We do hear this phrase economic development a lot, and it can feel intimidating, especially if you don't see yourselves as businesses. And I know a lot of creatives don't, but this grant isn't trying to, be something that it's not. We really want to think about you as sustaining your careers as creatives. So what I've done, I've actually invited Jordan Quibido here. He's from the Lafayette Economic Development Authority, and he's going to be a contact at LEADER. And he's just going to tell you a little bit about what his department does and how they're going to support you through this process.
Yes, I'm with LEADER. All in all, what we kind of do is try to bring business into the parish, so that it can afford more jobs to the community, as well as help the businesses that are already in the community grow. And really whatever they need personally in small business development. It always starts with an intake, and that is a time where there are no bad questions, especially for artists. I know the main focus, specific focus for you is focusing on your specific discipline. And my job for you is to make it to where you can feel comfortable on the business side of things. That way that isn't taking up any headspace for you to move forward. We help with business planning, we're looking for funding. We help with that, always one-on-one counseling. We have sessions, which the first one I'll mention is just kind of the continuation of, how we normally do it, the Light Center, but the Lead Association, which is the egg building. They do Accelerate Northside, and that's a multiple-week program where you can get a base level of business knowledge, larger class, and then with us, we have a business life cycle where we kind of go in more depth. We bring in speakers that talk about, essentially the full business life cycle. So we'll start with planning, then we'll go to the marketing side of things, then the workforce, and that way, one, and I want to hit on that one because I know that could be the hard part for a lot of even, not even artists, really all my clients, is getting in front of a banker and thinking that you might say something wrong to mess up getting a loan or any type of funding. So we bring them in that way you can be comfortable with what they're expecting to hear and see. And again, my job is to prepare you for that with all the, business plan, documentation, financial projections. So all of it is a service to you. And I say that because I know it can be kind of hard to ask questions and not know what the right question is to ask. But if that time comes, and when that time does come, ask it, because in that time I'm learning about your business, but I'm also learning about you, and then I can get it where those things match up and you can move forward. And if y'all haven't already, I did bring business cards in the back. If you're not selected for the grant, still take one, please, and feel free to reach out to me. We're a free service, and we're here to help.
Yeah, so there's a couple of questions in the application that directly relate to what Jordan does. His contact details are there so that if you do have questions about how to answer those, he is a good contact for that. We can also try to help you with that, but he's the best person to help you answer those questions. Once you get into the program, there are specific requirements when you meet with him. You do need to have one-on-one. There's a marketing course that you can go through, which is optional but recommended. But even if you don't get in, this service is available, and you should all think about meeting with Jordan and talking about how to sustain your futures as creative entrepreneurs. So, thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Okay. Work samples. Another area that probably can be a bit of a pain point. We have two ways that you can upload your work samples. So one of them is just to directly upload it into the form. We do also have this platform called the Culturalist, kadiana.culturalist.com. It's a free platform. It is something that has artist profiles. It has opportunities for artists, such as grants, it has events. And as an arts organization, you can also put yourself up there. So if you do want to take this route, you just need to sign up in the top right corner here. You can break down by disciplines. I'm gonna find Denise Gallagher's profile up here. There's a little bio. There's some works on here. If you do go down this route, please remember to make sure that you're giving us a good description where it asks you to. So we want to know the year, we want to know the size, we want to know how you made it, and maybe a little bit about what you were thinking about it when you were making it. That'll help the panelists really understand your work. Those questions will be asked in the form upload, but I just want everybody to be aware of this platform. There are job opportunities on there. Somebody seeked Denise out specifically for a paid job. She didn't even have to do anything. They came to her. So there are opportunities out there. And just make sure that the work samples are relevant to the project that you're submitting. So I know that some of you are multidisciplinary artists, but if you're actually going to be doing something that's, you know, one kind of discipline versus a different one, make sure that those work samples support that. Or give us an example of, oops, sorry. Yeah, make sure that they're relevant and it gives the panelists a story about how this grant is going to support the next stages of your career. Okay. So just to demystify a little bit about the review process. So the applications are reviewed by a panel of about 5 or 6 people. Depending on how many applications there might be 2 panels. The panels are made up of artists, community leaders, business professionals, people within your community. They don't always have a background in art, or if they do have a background in art, they don't necessarily have a background in your art. So when you're writing your applications, make sure you're clear, you're speaking in a simple language, you're not, you know, overdoing the language. You want people to understand what you're trying to do. They score the applications based on a couple of different areas, artistic merit, artistic excellence, and outreach. After they've scored, they've come together, they discuss your applications, they have an opportunity to update their scores based on the conversations that they've had. They will make recommendations to the ACA board, who then go ahead and approve the funding recommendations. For a little bit of context about what each of these areas means. So the artistic merit, we're looking for your planning ability, the feasibility of the project, give us a good project description, what you're doing, and clarity. So we want to make sure that we really understand the project that you're submitting. Artistic excellence is your background, your bio, your statement, artist statement, your resume or CV. If you do have questions about whether you want to use a resume or CV, please ask us questions. We don't just want a regular resume of all of the work that you've been doing as an admin assistant. We want it to be we want it to be tailored to this opportunity. We want to make sure that the work that you've been doing matches up. So exhibitions, what festivals have you been at if you've been in film festivals? What papers have you written about the subject? Where have you been published? That type of thing. Outreach. So that is going to be based on the community engagement that you do, as well as the questions about your economic development section. So any of your small business stuff. I do want to reinforce this is a competitive program, so not all applications will be funded. So making sure that you address all of these questions is going to be really important. In the guidelines, you will actually see exactly what they're basing it off of. So on page second to last page, there's a section called review process. It really goes into detail about all of those questions, all of those criteria. So just make sure that you're reading those as you're writing application and making sure that they're being addressed. Okay. We have a lot of different ways that we want to support you all through this. I know a lot of you are first-time grant writers, first-time ArtSpark potential submitters. So we do have resources to help you. Our website is a really fantastic resource. It has a lot of details about the workshops and office hours we do. We have binders full of previous applications, so you can read the applications and see which applications were successful versus which were not. We offer a draft review. This is not a service that a lot of grantees offer. If you can get your draft to us 2 weeks ahead of the deadline, we will sit down and review it with you and offer you some guidance on areas that need improvement. I recommend that you use this service. I know that I have spoken to a lot of grantees who have used this service who it took them 3 times to apply it, and the only time that three turns to actually receive the grant, and the only time that they got the grant is after they had the draft review service. So it's a super important part. This year as well, we have a program, an ambassador program. So who have we got in the audience who's an ambassador this year? Can you all stand up? Can you all come to the front? So these bunch of lovely ladies are part of our ambassador cohort. Some of them have been ArtSpark recipients, some of them haven't. But they're helping us gather events to further, the information sessions that we're doing so that we can provide you with one-on-one support. If you don't want to talk to me or Audrey because we work at the Arts Council, then, that's up to you, but we're super accessible. Please contact us. These ladies, they are also accessible. They're going to be out in your parishes. So I know that, y'all are from Franklin, but we're actually doing a session out in Franklin. Is that you? No, none. Jess isn't here. We're doing a session out in Franklin. So she's going to be accessible out there too. You can find details. Do you want to just quickly introduce yourselves and which parishes you're looking after?
My parish is and Lafayette. So I'm a 2-time recipient of ArtSpark grant, and yeah, I'm gonna have a session in New Iberia and one here at the ACA to kind of go over any questions, a big Q&A. It'll be hopefully in February, so it'll give you a little time to kind of work on what you're doing and then bring your questions. I utilized the resource of
The draft.
and draft review, and that really helped me. So, so I kind of, and I've done it twice, so, you know, I kind of have an idea, but you can still do the draft review, but, you know, ask me questions first.
Hello, everyone. My name is Candace Lee. I did also apply for the ArtSpark, I believe, 2 years ago. I didn't get it, but I still share the experience because that was probably the best one I do. My career since then has taken off, and I'm so grateful for it. This is a great program, great resources, great people. I will be having office hours on the north side of Lafayette and in the Acadia Parish. I have them coming up in Crowley at the Crowley Art Association on the 30th. This next Friday at 5:30. And then I will have one at Park Village, February 6th at 5:30 as well. And then I'll have one more in each of the parish, Northside and Acadia Parish, and I'll be posting. You can follow me on social media, Candace Lee, for that information. I can't wait to answer any questions you may have.
I'm Brooke Broussard. I'm in Vermillion Parish. I've helped out with spreading the word about ArtSpark before, and I'm a writer, so I can also make myself available to help you put your words together if you'd like. I'm going to be hosting a session in Abbeville at the Abbey Players Theater on Monday, February 9th at 5:30. If you know anyone in Vermillion Parish who might be interested.
Hello, I'm Marie Kimball. I am working with Evangeline Parish and also outreach to the Chitimacha tribe in order to broaden access to the program. We're in process of setting times and dates. I know that there is a calendar online. You can access
Yes, thank you so much. So you can find more information, and we've got more sessions coming. This isn't our whole cohort. We have a few more people. You will find all of these details on the ArtSpark page. So we've got Acadia Parish, Northside, Vermillion, and St. Mary already listed on here, but this will be updated soon. The other workshops that we have coming up is a grant writing session on Thursday, February 5th. This will really deep dive into grant writing and what we'll be expecting. And then the ArtSpark Ideas Workshopping, that date has changed. It's going to be February 10. And that one is you can get one-on-one sessions with myself, Rachel Nedeveld, and Brandon Ballinger, 2 other previous recipients. And you're going to come to us with a kind of idea about what you want, but you're not entirely sure what that looks like, you know, as a whole. So you want us to help you with making sure that all of those elements are filled. So it's going to be a bit of back and forth. We really, you know, talking about that. So they're 15-minute sessions. They're going to be round robins. We'll have the binders available for people to look at when they're not in those sessions. Also, when we're talking about getting draft reviews, here are the instructions on how to do that. You're going to go to our application, which is here. Once you're ready for somebody to review it, you're going to save a draft of your submission and you're going to email us and let us know. And then that is going to be a link soon. And you're going to click that link and you're going to make a time to talk to us. This one here. If that link doesn't appear, then you can also just book it here. Okay, let's go to important dates. Here we go. All right, funding cycle. A couple of years ago, playing up. All right. Our funding cycle starts May 1st through to April 30. So a couple of years ago, we were doing a 9-month cycle, but we changed it. It's now a full year cycle to make your projects. that's when the project needs to be made. That's where all the funding needs to be spent within those dates. Draft review deadline. If you do want to submit a draft, you do need to get it to us by Sunday, March 1st. That gives us time to read your draft, sit down with you, give you feedback, and then time for you to also update your drafts before submitting. The application deadline is March 20 by 5 p.m. We won't be extending that. If you're having technical problems, make sure that you are well ahead of that deadline. We can't extend it. It just makes it unfair for other people. So we really do need to be sticking to that deadline. And then we will let you know. So between March 20 and the week of April 20, we'll be having our panelists review applications. We'll be sending the funding recommendations to the ACA board. And we should let you know by April 20 so that you can start your projects by May 1st. It's all dependent on funding. Last year was a little bit of a interesting time with the federal funding circuit. I don't know if you'll notice, but the National Endowment for the Arts is no longer funding this program. So that's one of the changes that we experienced this year. So that shouldn't be a problem. Last year, the project started more like August. Yeah, after we got the funding. So just be mindful of these dates. All right. If you're funded, I know you've seen this a few times, but congrats, you've been funded. You need to know that there are mandatory things that you need to do. You need to attend a compliance meeting. We need to be able to tell you what your responsibilities are as an artist. A lot of these conditions you'll either find in the guidelines or in the form itself. When you're signing the form, there'll be some extra terms and conditions in there. Reporting requirements. We do also require you to submit a report at the end. We'll be doing some check-ins with you throughout the process, making sure everything's okay. But yeah, please, and then obviously the meetings that you'll need to have with LEADER if you do get funded. If you do get funded as well, make sure that you're tracking all of your receipts because we will be asking for those. So, but we will take you through that process if you do get funded. So, but just in general, tracking receipts is good. All right. Final tips, be clear and specific. Ask us questions early. Don't leave it to the last minute. Don't be scared. We're here for you. If you're scared of us, our ambassadors are here for you. Look, I just want you all to know there's not a perfect application. It's, it changes every year. The panelists really make a difference on whether, a project gets funded. People have got different priorities. They could be assessing their criteria, but they have different ideas about those things. So, the clearer you can make it, the more accessible it is to read for a panel of all sorts of different people, the better. Just because you don't get funded doesn't mean it's not a good project. It just means it wasn't your year, and we'll help you figure out if there's a different path for that as well. All right, who has questions? Hey, Brooke.
I wonder if, for those of us who are familiar with the process, if you could kind of highlight what's different this year.
There, as far as the actual grant itself from last year, none of the process things have changed. The major difference is that the NEA is no longer a funder. And just so that everybody knows, it's not because we weren't able to apply anymore. Federal funding is no longer allowed to be given as a re-grant to individual artists. So we were not able to apply for the funding again. So, that was the main change, to be honest. Yeah. Everything else is the same. We're paying artists. We're the funding levels are all the same. You still have a year to do your projects. They were like the major changes the year before. And we're paying artists up front, 100% up front. We're not doing 75-25. anymore. So, yeah. So nobody is out of pocket. You've got the money up front. Mhm. Okay.
Let's say you give me all my money from based on the budget, and then I start sending receipts to you, and then you're like, no, actually, we don't want to do this. Is there ever that like,
No, so yeah, in terms of like, there is a process to provide us with project changes in the process. We totally understand that, you know, sometimes projects need to like shift a little bit. As long as the heart of the project is still the same, generally speaking, we're not going to say no. But you know, we have to stay in communication about it. So if it's a major shift, then yeah, we're going to have a problem. But you know, generally speaking, you know, you might contract with somebody and they're no longer available. As long as that person is kind of the same level and you're paying them the same amount, it's generally going to be okay. Supplies fluctuate in price. Does that answer your question?
yeah. Like, say you do something for,
Mm-hmm.
looks like some of them have been done here. What's the
Exhibitions.
yeah,
Oh,
from,
okay.
like, ArtSpark, right? Not an additional application,
Yeah, so for everybody, you know, a lot of time people want to have exhibitions here at ACA as part of their projects. So there is a separate application for that. That is found on our website in the exhibitions. It's under opportunities for artists, as is this. So let me just see. No, exhibition proposal. So, but you would need to apply for this exhibition proposal now because they're programming things like, you know, 6 months, a year, 18 months in advance. So you need to be on that, you know, as soon as, yeah, I would make that a priority. There is no application fee to submit a proposal for exhibition. If you do have any questions about that, Jake Folk is your guy. His email is just jake@Acadiana Center for the Arts, and it's JAIK. Is that one of yours? Right. So yeah, this is only if you're doing your ArtSpark exhibition, you want an exhibition space for ArtSpark project that you're doing, then you would have to apply for this. But yeah, this is getting, I would talk to Jake and see how far out he's booking these things, because that will help you determine when you need to submit a proposal. Yes. Yeah. Right. You just have to find funding in another place. Yeah.
Does one depend on the other, or are they
No.
independent?
They're independent. Yeah. So if you get an ArtSpark, I can't guarantee that you'll get an exhibition. If you get an exhibition, there's no way for me to guarantee you'll get an ArtSpark. But you can get both. But it's not up to me. That they're two separate processes. Mm-hmm.
To get the funding, what is the time limit to a complete project?
It's 1 year, so between May 1st and April 30. So you can spend up to 50% of the 2,500. You know, I think with the smaller amounts, it's probably a little bit more flexible, but that would be a conversation. I would still stick to that in your application, and that'd be a conversation for you to have with the project administrators if you get the grants. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah, so in terms of subject matter, there is no stipulation that it needs to be culturally relevant. That's not to say that panelists don't get drawn to that kind of information, but you know, there are conversations that you and I can have if you want to talk about it, and best ways to like put that forward, because I do think that there's a way to justify non-culturally specific content. But I'm not gonna lie, panelists love culturally specific stuff, but contemporary art is totally eligible. Yeah. So so as well as the binders, what you can do is head to our ArtSpark page here for artists, ArtSpark. And if you just head to the bottom of the page, this is where today's session will be uploaded. Here are the past ArtSpark grant recipients from, I think, up to 2022. So from 22 to 25. You can view who was awarded and what their projects were. And their applications are available in the binders as well, so you can actually see what it looked like. Yeah. No, so it depends on the funding amount. Currently this year we're less than last year because of the NEA stuff. But we're, in conversation, so hopefully we'll have a little bit more. But last year we funded 8 projects at 100% of their asking. So it was $50,000 last year, and we funded them at 100%. It was 3 mature artists, 3 mid-career, and 2 emerging. So we really are splitting them into categories in that way and judging them differently based on that. You got another one? All right, look, all gone.
It's not like it's a little fluid on what's required there, or what's like a hard requirement, like different people are like at various stages, like say you did it for a long time and then you've been behind it as well for a while.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, so you're talking about career stages and how to determine whether you fit in one after taking a break. Yeah, I think that if you have the cumulative work and you can show that it does cumulate, yeah, but I mean, it's a conversation as well. So I think that we'd have to figure out, because one of the requirements for work samples is to have a recent work sample. So that is something to consider as well. Anyone? Yeah, so the binders, they're generally kept behind the front desk during the day. So you can come in at any time and ask to see them. We ask that you don't take pictures of any of the applications. They're really just there for you to flip through, take notes. We will also, if we're not in the office because we're taking those, because we're doing office hours in other parishes, we're taking those binders with us. So you just also have to be aware of whether we're in Crowley or Abbeville. So, but yeah, you can just ask the front desk and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. All right, we're available. Please contact us. That is not my contact details. That is my contact details. You can also just call the front desk, and my direct number, if anybody wants it, is 337-443-9579. I think, maybe. But yeah, please be in touch. We're happy to help you through this process. Please come along to the grant writing workshop, sign up for the workshopping. We'll help you however we can through this process. Yeah, thanks for coming.